Hello, welcome back to Classic Comics, everyone. I just like to do this live stream where I'm going to cover some of the details of the new Dawn of the DCU uh, relaunch that's coming to DC Comics beginning of next year. Part of the stream, I'm also going to talk about DC Studios' plans for their main characters going forward. And then there's maybe a couple of other things I'll get to too, depending on how long I run here. I figure this will be somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, something like that. Okay, here we go. So, DC reveals Dawn of the DCU 2023 timeline and a name change. Now, in this article, and this is on Games Radar, uh, they have this image that shows a sort of a timeline of what's going to be happening going forward. So they're going to be starting this relaunch, this Dawn of the DCU thing, or Dawn of DC, is that what they've already changed the name to it? So, but it's going to start with this big crossover event called Lazarus Planet. Now, apparently, this is going to be kind of spinning out of events that are taking place in this Batman versus Robin miniseries that's going on. Basically, the Lazarus Pit, that's magic pit that allowed Ra's al Ghul to be resurrected and other people to be resurrected. The chemicals from that pit apparently originate from this volcano on a particular island. And this volcano is going to erupt, and that's going to spew a bunch of these magic chemicals out into the atmosphere. And apparently, it's going to cause a lot of people to change, like their powers are going to change or they're going to get mutated in different ways. And as we see here, uh, these logos here sort of show a timeline of the new series that are going to be debuting. So they're going to be launching new Superman's or relaunching Superman series with Action Comics and Superman. And then that's going to be followed by a new Doom Patrol series. And then after that, new Green Lantern books and a Green Arrow book. And then, surprise, they're doing more Batman books. Surprise, surprise. And a Shazam book. And also, this looks like Hawkman symbol. So I guess there's going to be a new Hawkman series as well. But let's just go ahead and get into the details of this article. DC is finally lifting the veil on the dawn of the DCU, or what's now being referred to as Dawn of DC. And it appears that Brainiac might be underneath it. What the publisher is calling a year-long publishing initiative and line-wide multi-event narrative designed to be an easy entry point for lifelong and brand new readers. The previously announced initiative spins out of December's Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and will involve 20 new titles and at least two other major events after Lazarus Planet. So the speculation that it's Brainiac seems to come from these kind of mechanical looking tentacles you see here, which are purple, and that's one of Brainiac's colors. So I think that's where the idea that this is going to have Brainiac at the root of it comes from. But they say here, this is a great, it's designed to be an easy entry point for lifelong and brand new readers. So you're relaunching or rebranding your books across the entire line, and you're going to immediately start a company-wide crossover event that's going to last for a year. How is that a good entry point or jumping on point for a new reader? It sounds to me like that's going to be as confusing as hell for new readers. I mean, when are they going to yeah, how are they going to get up to speed on everything? Because immediately once this story begins, due to the Lazarus chemicals covering the earth, characters are going to start changing. They're going to get different powers. They're going to be altered in various ways. It seems to me that's just going to confuse people. I don't see how that's a good jumping on point for new readers, but it's DC doesn't consult me. Now, So Dawn of DC will celebrate classic characters also while embracing the next generation of superheroes and shine the spotlight on a number of fan favorite heroes and villains that haven't been front and center for some time. The publisher is also promising bold new directions for Superman, Batman, Nightwing, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. Dawn of DC kicks off in January with the previously announced revamp of the Superman titles that begins in Action Comics 1051 and then continues in new titles such as Unstoppable Doom Patrol, Superboy, The Man of Tomorrow, Green Lantern Hal Jordan and Green Lantern John Stewart, Green Arrow, Batman Brave and the Bold. So they're bringing back Brave and the Bold. That's kind of cool. Cyborg's getting a book. Shazam's getting a book. The Penguin is getting a book. I'll talk about that later, but I don't get that one. And then a book called Steelworks, which is going to feature John Henry Irons, aka Steel. Uh, but I think the main character, from what I can tell, is really going to be his daughter, Natasha Steele, and he's going to kind of be taking a back seat. So first off, the purple mechanical tentacles that serve as the narrative through line of the image are not identified, but look a lot like Brainiac technology. And since they originate at the blacked out far right of the piece, the message seems to be that the Superman villain will have his hand in machinations throughout the year, culminating in a year-end event. Also of note is DC hinting at a mid-year event in between the previously announced Lazarus Planet and the Brainiac-driven event at year end. DC is giving the words night and the first letter of the second word, which is T, which you can see here. Night something, and this will take place, I guess, somewhere around mid-year. When you see the name Night or word Night, that typically implies that Batman is going to be involved, since he's the Dark Knight. So, surprise, surprise, they're doing a Batman event. Who would have guessed? Otherwise, the image seemingly gives us one other clue not addressed directly by DC in its announcement of new titles. The Hawk symbol worn by Hawkgirl and Hawkman, suggesting a new title of some kind involving those characters towards the middle of the year. After the near multiverse ending events in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and DC Universe Lazarus Planet, the DC Universe will be heading toward the light, says DC publisher and Chief Creative Officer Jim Lee in the announcement. With brand new series and story arcs from some of the top creative members in comics, Dawn of DC is one of our most ambitious events ever and is a chance for us to tell bigger and bolder stories across our line. And they do give this image of the Doom Patrol here. Let's see if I can bring that up. Well, not, but you can kind of see it. I guess I can kind of enlarge it here. That'll be easier. And as you can see, so it's a mixture of characters. So you've got the old original Doom Patrol. You got Robot Man, Negative Man, and Elastigirl. And then you've got these three other characters. And every time they relaunch the Doom Patrol, this is what they seem to do. They bring back the original characters, or at least a couple of them, particularly Robot Man. Robot Man's the only one I think has been in every single iteration of Doom Patrol. And then they throw in, two or three other new characters that never stick around. They never really wind up lasting for the long haul. And the next time they reboot Doom Patrol 7, 8 years down the line, these characters will be forgotten probably. One notable name and title missing from the announcement is, of course, the Justice League. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths writer Joshua Williamson, who, by the way, will be writing the new Green Lantern title, has promised all year there is no Justice League and there won't be for a while. And it appears for the time being, DC is keeping that promise and building up anticipation for when its flagship title eventually returns. Okay, now we're going to move on to this next article here, which is going to cover some of the titles that are going to be debuting.